parent who is now raising a multilingual child, as well as a person who was raised trilingual, I know firsthand how rewarding and challenging it can be to raise multilingual kids. In this video, I'm sharing practical tips and strategies to help your children grow up speaking multiple languages with confidence. And I'm sure by the end of this video, you will have a clear mindset with practical skills in raising not only multilingual kids, but kids who are eager to learn and get better in subjects. Are you ready? Let's get started.
BB 你就嚟生日咯喎，你要咩生日禮物啊？
我要一個琴譜架，我要個 football 卡嘅盒，我要食麥當勞，我要讀埋最新嘅書，我要打機一日冇 limit， 同埋我要一件 Real Madrid football kit。仲有咩呢？應該夠㗎啦喎。That's it。
哇，要那麼多禮物，不如我們只買一盒足球卡給他好嗎？
你會到食咩？
食啦，食中午啦。
會到煮什麼食？
打邊爐咯，都係食埋琴晚嗰啲打邊爐剩低嗰啲餸咯。
正啊，咁凍食啲打邊爐。
係啊。
正啊。
你啊？你食咩？
我哋都晏晝都係好似打邊爐咁啊食。
Why do most parents in the world wish their kids could be able to speak at least 2 or 3 languages or even more? Why? Because it's so much beneficial to these little people. First up, it's brilliant for their brain. Honestly, kids who grow up with more than one language get a real mental workout every day. Switching between languages teaches them to think on their feet like little problem-solving ninjas. Plus, it's great for their memory. They're more likely to remember that PE kit you forgot to pack. Oh, and here's the kicker. Research even says it could help delay dementia when they're older. Not bad, right? Secondly, it builds bridges across cultures. I love how being multilingual connects kids to their roots. Imagine your little one chatting away with their grandparents in your family's native language. It's so heartwarming. And it's not just about family, because learning languages help them see the world differently. It lets them understand other cultures as well. They become so much more open-minded and empathetic, which is priceless in today's world. And another benefit is to open up so many doors. Think about it. Being able to speak multiple languages isn't just a cool party trick, it's a game changer. From better job opportunities to making friends all over the world, it's a skill that will keep giving back. I mean, how amazing is it to order coffee like a local in France or connect with colleagues in Japan without feeling lost? These are the little things that make a massive difference in life. By the way, if you're new to this channel, hello, I'm Rachel. I grew up speaking 4 languages and learned 2 other languages by myself when I grew up. So the exposure to a total of 6 languages completely shaped me into a person who loves exploring the world from new perspectives. As a keen learner and entrepreneur when I was in Hong Kong, stepping out of my comfort zone to build up my career from scratch once again in England a couple of years ago keeps me progressing every single day. My child speaks Cantonese and English natively, but English has become more natural to him now.
大嘅 LEGO 卡，大嘅 LEGO 車車，所以第一架車就係紅色同埋黑色啦。Okay, here comes my next big car. This is a fire engine that really has Lego. This is really Lego. Lego, I love Lego. And this is our next one. This is gonna be green.
He's also learning French and Spanish, which he picks up very easily. Well, I definitely believe this kind of multilingual parenting benefits him in school learning, especially in math, presentation, social skills, as well as other subjects in school. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel and follow my Instagram account yet, I would recommend you spend 2 seconds doing it now so you can catch up with my tips and sharing about West meets East culture, language learning, and personal growth. Some people would ask, when's the best time to start speaking multiple languages to your children? From my experience, the earlier, the better. There's also research from Harvard University on early bilingualism, as the university conducted studies showing that children exposed to multiple languages before the age of 3 can develop native night pronunciation in both languages. This early bilingual exposure is also shown to improve cognitive flexibility, problem-solving skills, and creativity later in life. If your family is a blend of different cultures, you've already got a brilliant head start. When parents come from 2 different cultural backgrounds, it's natural and honestly such a gift to each parent to speak their native language to the baby right from the start. I'll even say you can begin before they are born. Talking to your baby while they are still in the womb in your own language sets the foundation. Babies are incredible little sponges. They pick up sounds and rhythms of languages before they even arrive in the world. Now, what if both parents share the same cultural and linguistic background? Some worry that introducing another language early will confuse the child. Here's the thing. Kids are so much cleverer than we give them credit for. Their brains are literally wired to learn at lightning speed in their early age. In fact, children can easily separate languages if you are consistent. The key is making sure the language you introduce is spoken properly and naturally. Why do I emphasize this? In Hong Kong, you may hear something like this.
哎呀，跌咗添 ，BB 你唔好再食呢粒 chocolate 啦。係啊，佢 drop 咗喺 floor 嗰度，你唔好再食佢啦，知唔知 ？OK， 食其他啦，好唔好食啊？係咪好 delicious 啊？
And here's where it can go a bit pear-shaped. In some places like Hong Kong, parents often try to speak English to their kids even if it's not their native language. I know English is very important, who doesn't agree? But the result is the kids end up mixing languages without realizing it. Why am I contradicting myself? Because 2 minutes ago I just said that children are like sponges and they can separate languages easily. Well, now imagine a child trying to figure that out. It's confusing. This mishmash of languages makes it harder for kids to learn proper grammar, vocabulary, and even pronunciation. So if you're not fluent in the second language, that's absolutely fine. Just stick with your mother tongue. It's better to give your child a strong foundation in one language than a patchy mix of 2, you know what I mean?
Hi guys. Oh, it's so annoying. I wasn't really aware that the receiver of my wireless microphone got no battery in the middle of my recording, so I have to record the last part of my video again. So last time I was talking about when it comes to raising my child to speak 2 languages fluently, my approach has been simple yet intentional. At home, we only speak Cantonese, even though I can speak English to him. I rarely do unless it's absolutely necessary, or his English comes from school where he's completely immersed in this language. So I firmly believe that creating a clear boundary between language helps children to build a strong foundation in both. So like at home is Cantonese all the way. This ensures that he develops fluency and maintain a deep connection to our cultural heritage. It's so important to me that he can communicate with his grandparents, auntie and uncles in their native languages. It's a bridge to his roots, you know. But at school, it's a completely different story. He speaks only English because that's the language of that environment. Even when he interacts with other children from Hong Kong, say for example, who also know how to speak Cantonese, but I keep reminding him that he has to stick to English if he's at school. Why? Because it's just about respect. Speaking English at school ensures that no one will be excluded or left out in a group setting. This simple practice not only helps him to strengthen his English skills, but also nurture his social awareness. So he's naturally developed a sense of contextual language use. What's fascinating is how naturally this separation happens. So at home, he instinctively switches to Cantonese because that's our family language, but with friends and school, it's all English. This literally mirrors my own experience growing up. I spoke Hokkien with my parents and grandparents, but Cantonese with friends and at school. Back then, I didn't think too much about it. The shift between languages just happened without conscious effort. Like my brain had an automatic sorting system. Now I see the same thing unfolding my son, and to be honest, it's incredible to witness. So I'll let you know why this strategy works. The first reason is the consistency consistency creates clarity. By keeping Cantonese exclusively for home and English exclusively for school, there's no overlap or confusion, so you know exactly when and where to use each language. If you are in a family where the parents speak two different languages, say for example dad speaks French and mom speaks Italian, the child will naturally learn to associate each parent with a specific language, and it's fascinating how children just know who to speak which language without much effort on the parents' part. However, I've seen families where this opportunity is missed. For instance, I know of a family where the mom is a Japanese and the dad is a Hong Konger. Since they don't speak each other's native language, so they communicate in English instead. Not to mention that both do not speak English very fluently and natively. As a result, their children only speak English but in a not so native way and haven't learned either Japanese or Cantonese properly. I can't help but feel that it's a bit of missed opportunity. Those children were born into a situation where they could have effortlessly picked up two additional languages. Not just the languages, but the rich cultural heritage and deeper connections to both sides of the family that comes with them. So if you're in a similar situation, it's worth thinking about how you can use your family's unique linguistic backgrounds to your child's advantage. It might take a bit more effort and planning to create a multilingual environment, but the benefits to your child and your family are immeasurable. I'm giving you a little advice on the solution for this particular case is to ask for extended family's help. So encourage grandparents or relatives to speak to your child regularly in their native language. And whenever they're speaking that native language, the parent who speaks the same native language joins in. So now a boundary is set again for the child. Whenever he's talking to other extended family members, he switches to speaking that particular language, even to the parents who speaks the language as well. The above has just explained the first pillar of raising multilingual kids, which is consistency. Stick to the routines like one parent, one language, or specific time for each language. For example, they speak one language at home, another with extended family. But there are actually three pillars here. So what's the second pillar of raising a multilingual kids? It's the exposure. Exposure is absolutely key when it comes to raising multilingual kids. It's all about creating plenty of opportunities for your child to hear and use both languages in meaningful and enjoyable ways. Children learn languages best when they are immersed in them consistently and naturally. It's not just about teaching vocabulary, it's about surrounding them with the sound, rhythm, and the context of the language. So the more they hear, the more familiar they become. And this lays a strong foundation for fluency later on. While I rarely speak English to my child at home because I want to focus Cantonese, I still make sure that he's exposed to a lot of English in other ways. Say for example, he often watched Peppa Pig and other English cartoon or TV programs at home when he was still small. It's actually a fun way for him to absorb English vocabulary and phrases without feeling like it's a lesson. Also, every time when he was in a car with us, I played English nursery rhymes or audiobooks and he sang along and listened attentively. It's like a mini language session on the go. As I said, kids are like sponges. They pick up the sound and the structure of the language effortlessly when they are surrounded by it.
When I say so, he goes by grade. Hey, but in the 1926 today, he called cool chameleons. He said, gecko.
So cartoons, song, and books make this fun and engaging. And more importantly, I bought quite a lot of English books for him to explore on his own or with school. So they are always available in our home library. But on the other side, I'm also intentional about giving him strong exposure to Chinese at home, especially when he's with us. For example, if he wants me to read him stories, I would choose Chinese stories. This not only allows him to enjoy a good story, but also helps him recognize Chinese characters from a young age. Also, he knows that when he watches TV or reads books from school, it's usually in English, but with me or his dad, it's always Cantonese or Chinese. This clear distinction helps him naturally associate the languages with different contexts. By exposing him to Cantonese through books and stories, he's not just learning that language, he's also connecting the culture behind it. This balance prevents him being overwhelmed by one language or the other. The third pillar of raising multilingual kids is about about the engagement, and most importantly is to set realistic goals. Well, it may sound a bit similar to the second pillars of the exposure, but engagement is about going one step further, which is actively involving your child in using the language while keeping the experience stress-free and enjoyable. And having the realistic goals ensures that you are on the same page with what you are trying to achieve without turning the process into a pressure cooker. Engagement is about creating meaningful interactions in the language, whether it's through conversations, games, shared activities, or traveling. So kids thrive when they see the practical side of language learning and can relate it to their lives. It's not just about hearing words, it's also connecting those words into some real-life scenarios. Here's where it gets personal for us. As my son receives education in an English-speaking environment here in the UK, I've set clear priorities. So the first one is that English is the foundation for him. Since his education is entirely in English, I want him to focus on mastering it as his native language. A strong grasp of English helps him excel in his studies and understand the subject he's learning. This foundation will actually serve him well throughout his life. But for Cantonese or Chinese more broadly, my goal is more modest. I only hope he becomes fluent in speaking and listening so he can communicate with family and connect with his cultural roots. As for reading and writing, I'm not aiming for mastery. Why? In today's world, especially with the rise of AI, the ability to write or read Chinese characters isn't as essential as it used to be. AI tools can help translate, read, or even compose Chinese text. But what AI can't replace is the human connections, face-to-face communications that comes with speaking and listening. So by setting these realistic goals, I don't feel the need to push or pressure my son into mastering something he's not interested in. Be clear about what you want to achieve with each language. Like for us, English is for academic use and professional purpose, while Chinese is for cultural and family connections. And because there's no resistance to learning new languages, he's actually able and ready to pick up more languages naturally. And then there's Spanish. He started learning it entirely on his own through Duolingo and Alexa, purely because he's a fan of Real Madrid. You know, that's the beauty of it. When the foundation is strong and the pressure is off, kids are free to explore languages that genuinely excite them. So try to tie language used to their interests, whether it's football, travel, or music. Well, I learned a lot of Japanese and Mandarin through pop songs when I was young, and I'm sure many of this generation learn Korean through K-pop culture. Just let them see how language connects to what they love, and you soon see the payoff. Here's how it really shines. My son is learning French at school, and because I'm also learning French, I take him to France wherever I can. He loves trying out basic French phrases with the locals. It's not just a language, it's an adventure for him, which makes him brave and eager to try new things. Because we've kept the process fun and manageable, my son is already multilingual, with an openness to learning even more languages in the future. The foundation is there, and he knows he can learn whichever language he loves when he's ready. And I'm very confident that if you execute a similar practice, such as setting clear, realistic goals, keeping the process enjoyable, and engaging your child in meaningful ways, you'll see your kids develop a strong foundation in multiple languages, a love for learning, and the ability to connect with different cultures. Is such a rewarding journey, both for them and for you as a parent. Raising a bilingual child doesn't have to be complicated. It's about creating clear structure, being consistent, and giving your child the freedom to adapt naturally. It's amazing to see how effortlessly kids can navigate between languages when given the right environment. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about creating a lifelong love for language and culture. So what tips resonate you the most? Share your thoughts down below in the comment and let me know. Before you leave, I highly recommend that you click and watch this video, which mentions what it was like for me to grow up speaking 6 languages. If you find this video about raising multilingual kids helpful, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button and follow my Instagram account. Thank you for watching this video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the next video. See you next time. Bye!